Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name, of course, is Little Potato, and welcome to Operation Mega Factory Town. That's right, I am paying homage to one of the oldest series on my channel, which was Factorio. It was a series called Operation Mega Factory, where I tried to build a really big factory. This has got kind of the same sort of vibe. We're going to be building a really big town in Factory Town. Factory Town, if you are unfamiliar, is a fantastic process, sort of simulation strategy management game, very much in the vein of Factorio, and you'll see what I mean, and I suspect that you might actually find it's a lot more similar than it looks on the surface. Right, so, this is our interface, this is what we've got a base here. We don't have very much stuff in the inventory of the base at this moment in time. We've got a little tiny bit of wood, but that is okay. Inventory also can be seen up in the top left-hand corner. Anyway, we've got a couple of workers. We're gonna tell these workers to chop down some trees in order to give us wood. This is, of course, like the base level of interaction that we need to get started with in order to grow our town and accumulate some resources. Now, much like Factorio, we are going to be setting up conveyor belts, we're going to be setting up chutes, we are going to be setting up a variety of ways to move resources around the map, all for the purposes of feeding and growing a population. We've got a little house down here that we can start to construct, and indeed we are going to be constructing, I hope, a great number of houses and a great number of homes for our people to live in. Okay. Right, so the wood is starting to accumulate. That is excellent. We've got 4 houses, or the capacity for 4 houses, and 4 houses will hopefully lead to a little bit of cash coming in through the financial system that I am going to explain as we go. But yeah, all of the mechanics will sort of be referenced in the first video. I usually like to, on the first episode of any given series, just, you know, start to explain the mechanics so that everyone has got an idea of how the game plays, and a little bit of a level playing field as we move forward. Right, let's get a couple of houses down over here. We're gonna space the houses out a little bit. I think we're gonna space the houses out. We'll make sure that everyone has got plenty of space to operate. And in fact, I'm going to build 4 houses, which will all be built instantly. That's really stupid, Potato. Actually, that's really rather daft, because I didn't really want to build that house there, to be strictly honest with you. I wanted to build it right over here. Right, so a lovely setup there. We're also going to set up a footpath, because goodness knows we're going to need it. I don't think I've got quite enough wood. I just got enough wood, which is excellent. We're going to need a little bit more wood in order to make this footpath. But yeah, man, I was just feeling those Factorio vibes. You know, it's been a significantly long period of time since I played Factorio. I'm thinking about playing it on the Twitch stream, actually. So if you're interested in potentially watching some Factorio at some point, by all means, you know, come by the Discord, say hello, so you can get notified when I go live over on twitch.tv/Potato. Look, I couldn't take an opportunity to plug it, but anyway. So what we've got is we've got 4 houses. We've now got the capacity to increase our number of workers, which, truth be told, is something that we need to do, but I'm not entirely convinced that it needs to be done right at this very second. Workers, as you will see down in the bottom left-hand corner, will cost us 20 yellow coins in order to procure. Now, how do we get coins, I hear you ask? Well, it's simple. It's super duper simple. What we need to do is we need to sell resources to the houses, right? So as you can see, this is a list of all of the different goods that houses will buy for yellow coins. So if I was to perhaps give them some grain, I can literally just give the houses grain through a food market. They will buy that grain and they will give me the coin, which I think is very cool indeed. Right, so let's go into the build menu. Let's see what we can actually build. Can we build a food market at this moment in time? No, we cannot. We need a base level 2. Well, that's fine. What about a lumber mill? Can we get a lumber mill? Well, we need stone in order to get a lumber mill. It would seem like a decently good idea, perhaps, if we then bought 2 workers and set up some sort of a collection route for stone, so we can get that started. It's going to take a little bit of a longer time to get the stone, as it's not quite as close to the base. I tell you what, if I was to instead get the workers to grab the stone from over here, then we could actually justify the construction of a footpath all the way out to this area, which I think is exactly what we're going to do. I've made sure to leave plenty of space for roads down the center of my town, because goodness knows we're going to need a solid base from which to build on. So, you know, making sure that there's plenty of space between all of the different buildings is imperative at the start, because you can only make an initial plan once. You know what they say. I don't know if that's what they say, but you can only make an initial plan once, and making sure that you've got plenty of space everywhere is indeed a priority for me. Right, so we need to get the base upgraded. Yeah, so if we get the base upgraded, that's definitely something that we should do as a first priority. But also, you know, looking to try and get the food market is indeed also a similar priority. Now, we don't necessarily have to have a food market in order to sell grain. The thing about a food market is that a food market will automatically sell whatever you put into the food market to all of the houses in the surrounding area. That may sound a little bit zany and a little bit weird to say, but it will all become clear very, very, very soon indeed. So what we're going to do is we're going to give one worker the duty of transporting grain directly to a house. Just this house is fine, and that's just going to give us a little bit of income. It's not super imperative that we get loads and loads of income. All we need is enough money really to hit our maximum worker capacity. That is pretty much all that we really need at this moment in time. We've been accruing a bit of stone in the meantime. A lumber yard, or a lumber mill, I should say. It sounds like a good thing to get operational right now, if indeed I do say so myself. So let's get that down there, and what do you know, we've actually unlocked a whole bunch of additional structures, which is excellent. Much like the research mechanic in Factorio, there is a research mechanic in Factory Town, which is brilliant. Okay, so we've unlocked a brand new structure, and the chute is going to be probably the most crucial in the early stage of the game for us. And you'll see why in just a second, after, of course, I build it. Let's assign a recipe to the lumber mill. We'll just tell the lumber mill to build planks. It's going to take 2 wood, it's going to take 3 seconds, and it's going to produce 1 plank. That plank has got a property. The property is that it can be sold at a general store, as opposed to a food market, for red coins. And, of course, the people that are buying the planks from the general store live in the houses. So I hope it sort of becomes clear is that I produce stuff, I need resources, I sell resources to the houses in order to give me money, if that makes sense. So paper and fluid pipe, all of that stuff will come along later, but for now, I think planks are a good place to start. Excellent. So let's, in order to celebrate the occasion, we're actually going to buy 2 additional workers. Now, these 2 workers are going to take trees directly to the lumber mill. However, what I actually think is we're going to go into the build menu, and then we're going to go into paths, and then we're going to have a little look at what a chute costs. Now, a chute costs a single plank in order to buy, and it's going to greatly speed up the pace at which we are going to be able to supply wood to the lumber mill. At the moment, let's just drag the output of the lumber mill over to the base. We'll do that manually with a worker that apparently we've just had sitting around doing absolutely nothing for the first little bit of the game. Feels a little bit inefficient, but you know, what can you do? Not very much, as it turns out. Also, there's a whole bunch of beautiful resources that are just chilling around here. Cotton, herb, grain over there. There's some tomatoes over here, more grain over here. Iron ore, coal ore. I mean, look at the little bit of airstone, whatever the heck that is. Well, I actually know what that is, but we'll get to that later. What have we got down here? We've got sugar. I'm sure there's a bounty of other resources. Apple trees. Yep, brilliant. Anything else? More sugar over there. Water stone, mana shards, more apples. Yeah, look, there's loads and loads of stuff that we're going to be exploring as we go. Anyway, have we got 3 planks? We do indeed have 3 planks. Excellent. So let's get a chute. Let's get a chute in here, and I'll show you exactly what the heck a chute does. So this is going to cost us what? It's going to cost us like 6 or 7 bits. 6 or 7 bits of plank in order to build the chute of my dreams. The shoot of my dreams is very, very short. It's not a very long shoot, but it's important nonetheless. Okay, let's just get that built. Right, so the workers at the moment are still set to deliver wood to the lumber mill, which I'm fine with. But now what we can do is actually get them to take wood directly to the chute, which is then going to automatically move the logs right down into the lumber mill. What do you know? How great is that? That is pretty darn fantastic, if I do indeed say so myself. Very, very, very happy with that. We've actually got rather a large number of planks just waiting in the output of the lumber mill, which is a bit of a problem. Now, you might ask, well, why don't you, Potato, why don't you just connect the lumber mill to the base with a chute? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because planks don't roll. A chute is only for resources that can roll, and resources that roll are cylindrical resources and also spherical resources like stone or grain. In fact, you can just see this worker over here is carrying a little bit of grain. And you know, we could use grain. We could use grain, or we could use a chute with a grain with a chute, grain with a chute. Yeah, we could put grain on a chute in order to deliver it to a house, I believe. But I don't really think that that's necessary. We're just getting a couple of coins. We're not really using this as a consistent means of, you know, getting a whole bunch of money. But, you know, perhaps in the future we will. Right, what do we need in order to get our base upgraded to the next level? Getting the base upgraded to the next level will give us a whole bunch of additional buildings, as I've already talked about. But it'll also, I believe, increase the number of inventory slots that we have available to us. So that's pretty exciting, isn't it? A well will produce water. We don't really need to worry about that for now. A worker, we can buy workers. We've talked about that, as long as we have housing capacity. There's also a whole bunch of additional sort of worker units, which we'll talk about as we unlock them. We talked about paths, farming. We will unlock farming. We will unlock farms at some point. So this grain isn't, you know, a non-renewable resource. We will be able to get more grain in the future. Structural blocks, scaffolding is really, really, really useful, and wooden bridges as well. We're going to be able to make good use of that. Logistic blocks, compute blocks, all of that is cool. Terrain modification, we can actually modify the terrain with coins, albeit red coins, which are like a tier 2 coin. And we will indeed utilize that at some point. Pipes, again, we'll talk a little bit about that later. And also decor. It's not super, super important, but, you know, makes the area look pretty, and maybe that's something that we could think about. Right, let's get the base upgraded. Boom, let's freaking go. House max increased by 4. Brilliant. New building unlocked, grain mill. New building unlocked, food market. New building unlocked, workshop. Right. So we already know the effect of a food market. What we do is we can plonk down a food market, and that will automatically supply houses within the area of effect. So if I stick it down over here, which is what I intend to do, probably right about there, I imagine. How much is this going to cost me? It's going to cost me 10 stone and 10 planks. So it's actually going to cost me a fair investment of my early game resources. So instead of delivering the grain to the houses, we're now going to set it to deliver to the food market. I know it's a pretty inefficient journey. And in fact, would it be more beneficial if I was to just instead deliver tomatoes? I do indeed believe houses still buy raw tomatoes. Yeah, they pay 1 coin for it. That's cool. So most of the resources that we're looking to sell to the houses are just like basic food items, you know, unrefined food. In the first instance, that will of course change. That will evolve. We're going to be able to prepare more complex food items. We're going to be able to, you know, prepare more complex structures. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff actually. Right. Let's buy an additional worker. I feel like we need to just increase the amount of planks that we're getting. We've got very, very few planks in comparison to everything else. We've also got 1 grain for some obscene reason in the base. So let's ditch that, because that's not required at all. As you will see, we used to be maxed out on wood storage, but now That's actually been increased because we've hit base level 2. What do we need to hit base level 3? We need 50 yellow coins. Not anticipating that being a problem, although our rate of yellow coin acquisition at the moment is very, very slow. We also need to get wood wheels, and getting wood wheels is, I guess, the next stage on our quest for greatness. We've got a lumber mill already. We're producing planks at the lumber mill. The grain mill, yeah, we will be able to refine grain, I believe, into flour. So that's pretty important to get as well. But I think for now we want to get a workshop, because a workshop really demonstrates where we go. Where we go in terms of industrial capability. I'm going to place down the workshop over here. Sure, let's do that. New structure unlocked, fence. New structure unlocked, half stairs. And new item unlocked, wagon. Heck yeah. So, a wagon is like a bigger, stronger worker. And you'll see if I bring up the worker category, you can see that in order to build a wagon, we need 4 wood wheels, we need 4 planks, and we need 40 coins, but it also takes up a population slot. So we still need to have space in our houses for the wagon operator to live. And in fact, getting a wagon is really, really helpful because it allows us to remove resources in larger quantities than just, you know, workers carrying one resource from the lumber mill to the base. So yeah, definitely something that we want to get set up there. I'm going to increase the number of workers that we have working on plank moving. So we're going to move some more planks to the base from the lumber mill. Again, I'd love to do it via a chute, but it's not feasibly possible. Right, what can we build in our workshop over yonder? We can build a wood wheel. A wood wheel, and it costs 2 planks. I mean, that's exactly what we need, right? We can also build cloth from cotton, which we seem to have in bountiful quantities just over here. Cotton can be used for a couple of things, actually. Or cloth can be used for a couple of things, I should say. Including clothing, which can be sold at the general store for a bunch of profit. Which is always very, very nice. Cloth conveyor belt. That's also very nice. I'm very, very much looking forward to getting a cloth conveyor belt. But for now, a wood wheel I think is absolutely adequate. You are still moving wood into the base, and we don't actually need that. We don't actually need to do that. Let's instead get 1 worker to deliver resources directly to the workshop. I appreciate, by the way, that it's a little bit inconvenient for all of these workers to get to where they need to be at this moment in time. So I think I'm actually going to increase their move speed by giving them a path to walk on. And in fact, I want to double this path up here, because it's always nice to make sure that we've got a large path for everyone to walk on. As I say, you can only make an initial plan once, right? How many more bits of wood are ready to be extracted from that tree? There are 4 bits of tree to be extracted from that tree, which is excellent. Right, we're going to continue to accrue wood wheels until I get a worker to move them specifically into the base. I think I'm actually going to buy a couple of additional houses first, just because it's a good thing to do. The more workers we have, the merrier I will be, for sure. So that's 2 additional houses. That gives us, what? Access to 4 additional workers, I think it is, which is really, really nice. We'll buy 1 additional worker in order to move the wheels between the workshop and the base. As you can see, we've got quite a number of workers that are just waiting for the lumber mill to output a plank. So that is because we have assigned, you know, too few workers to work on delivering resource inputs to the lumber mill, and instead we've, you know, got a large number of workers that are waiting to transport the output. So we'll instead rectify that, and we'll move 1 of the workers from dealing with the outputs to dealing with the inputs, and instead we will start getting a whole bunch of additional logs for the lumber mill. Look at this. This is looking great. This is looking really, really good. I'm very, very happy with that. It's all looking very, very nice indeed. I'm going to tweak the volume just ever so slightly, because I fear that it may be just a little bit soft. A little bit soft. Cool. Okay. But certainly in terms of inventory capacity, we're fine. We're fine in the base. Everyone is doing a job, I believe, including... do we have a tomato? Do we have a tomato dude? Where did our tomato dude go? I could have sworn we had a tomato dude. Well, that's a bit of a problem. All right, well, let's reassign you to do tomato pickups. So after you're done faffing around with that bit of stone, yep, you'll hopefully go on to tomato duty. Truly, there is no more noble a cause than delivering tomatoes to the food market. Right. It's very janky. It's a very, very janky road, but it's at least going to speed up. It's at least going to speed up the pace that that this tomato dude is able to head to the tomato field. Is it a tomato field? I don't know. Right. Operate from this tomato plant. We don't want you to faff around with the furthest away tomato plant. That's absolutely not the priority at this moment in time. Okay, but the workshop is looking good, looking very, very good. And in fact, we've extracted that tree over there, which means that we can now get a really, really thick path. I do like a good thick path, which is excellent. Right, what other buildings do we need to build? We do have a couple of extra houses that we want to probably end up building. Do we want to build the houses over here? Probably over here somewhere. Yeah, I think we'll create a second sort of street. Yeah. We'll create a second street over here. Not entirely sure how I feel about this, but you know, we'll sort of roll with it for now. And we'll build another pathway over there, build another pathway over here. It costs wood in order to build paths, so I mean it's not exactly free, but wood is the resource that I have in most abundance at this moment in time, which is kind of great. Also, if you're worried about the renewability of any of these resources, you know, we will shortly be exploring the methods that we can employ to farm them and reforest the forest. Reforest the forest, does that make sense? Sure, I guess it kind of does. Right, back to buildings. What other buildings do we need to get in place? The grain mill, actually. The grain mill is pretty darn important. Is there a large grain field anywhere? There's a grain field over here, so might be worth my time putting the grain mill over there, or even maybe over here. Why don't we see if we can put it somewhere nearer? Doesn't necessarily need to be near the food market, but it needs to be somewhat in range. There we go. That's the perfect audio level. I had it too loud, now then I had it too soft, and then too loud, and then too soft. So yeah, we need to get our grain mill, but it needs to be somewhere useful. Somewhere that I can get utility out of it. Because I believe, as I've already said, in the grain mill, we're able to refine grain into flour. Flour is actually sellable for 4 gold coins. 4 gold coins. So we're going to substantially increase our money-making potential by getting a grain mill here. Right, let's throw down a grain mill. Let's throw down a grain mill over yonder, shall we? And what can we make? We can make animal feed for animals when we eventually get them, or we can make flour. I've already expressed my interest in making flour. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set up a chute over here, and you know what? This will serve as a lovely introduction to scaffolding, which basically allows us to modify the terrain height through, you know, just a wooden scaffold structure, and allows us to either elevate or de-elevate certain buildings, including chutes, which is pretty exciting. After you are done with the tomato, I'm instead going to get you to go and put grain in this chute so that we can get over to the grain mill, which is excellent. Also, I should have said we can actually increase the number of workers in any given building. It costs 1 worker in order to get the grain mill operational. You get diminishing returns based on how many workers you end up putting in the grain mill. We only need 1 for now. Who is doing stone? You are collecting wood. I do kind of need to still collect wood, to be honest. Why don't I buy a new worker? I'll buy a new worker for just this occasion. Right, you can be the worker that transports flour to the food markets. I'm not entirely sold on the on the continuing presence of this grain mill. It's imperative that we have the grain mill in the short term. It's not super imperative that we have it there specifically for the long term. You know, that may very well change. Right, this is, okay, I mean, this is a thick path. This is a very, very thick path right here. It's a thick, thick, thick path. I'm not sure that I like it. There's thick and then there's thick, you know? I think it may be a little bit too thick. But no matter. Anyway, look at that. Look at the number of coins that we're getting. This is excellent. By the way, I should point out that the happiness of each and every house does actually matter. I believe the happier your village is, the more of a production bonus you get. So you're incentivized to make sure that you're delivering, you know, resources, yes, to the food market, but also importantly, consistent resources, right? There are only a certain number of resources that a house can consume. So I don't know, I don't even know how you can see, but there is a way that you can see how much. Yeah, look, this is it right here. So you can see that we are getting 1 happiness from providing, you know, grain, flour, or bread. And that happiness decays with time. So when it gets to 0, either the house will buy or try to buy a resource from the food market again, or it just will not give you that happiness. So as you can see, there we go. It's just been able to purchase flour, and therefore it refills the happiness meter, heads all the way down. As it's being used up, then the happiness decays, and then, you know, you stop gaining the happiness. So it's a really, really nifty mechanic, actually, and I really, really like it. Anyway, we basically quadrupled our income. In fact, more than quadrupled our income when we started producing flour. So let's see if we can try and get some additional people to help us make even more money. What do the mathematicians say? Exponential returns? I don't know if it's quite exponential, but we're certainly going to increase our returns. That's for gosh darn sure. I mean, it does cost us 3 grain a pop to make flour, so it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while to make flour, even with 2 workers, but that's fine. Also, I haven't built a wagon yet. I should build a wagon because I can. It's going to cost us 1 worker, 40 coins, so it's a pretty significant investment, probably the most expensive investment I've yet made, but certainly a worthwhile one. And in fact, what it will be able to do is, instead of having 2 workers deliver flour, right, what we're instead going to say is we're going to say, wagon, you can deliver the flour instead of the workers, and these 2 workers can go and work on grain collection. Because unlike workers, wagons cannot actually harvest resources, so it has to be workers that harvest resources, which is just something to consider, something else to throw into the mix. Yeah, very, very cool. I like wagons. Yeah, cannot harvest natural resources, but can carry multiple resources between buildings. If we have a little look at the inventory up here, you can actually see, I think the maximum capacity is 4. I think that it's 4, I believe. You're still not doing what I want you to do, but that's fine. Bring grain to shoot. Excellent. So with that, we should have loads and loads of coins. It seems like it's just a little bit quicker for the wagon to go direct. What we will run into in the future is a problem where we've got so many wagons that, you know, the area that they take up will become congested, because everything inhabits a space, and wagons are perhaps the best example of this. They occupy 1 space whenever they're traveling through a specific area. So we always need to make sure that there is a clear plan. And that actually sort of speaks to why I decided to get such a thick street, because gosh darn it, I want to make sure that we're able to, you know, continue to have wagons deliver to all of the houses in the future. In fact, it looks like our grain mill is actually having a real problem processing all of this grain. In fact, it looks like we've got too much grain for 1 single grain mill, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's not a problem. All right, the base is ready for a level upgrade. It's going to cost us 5 wheels, 20 stone, and 50 coins. Let's freaking go. House max increased. Excellent. New building unlocked. School. Excellent. New building unlocked. General store. New recipe unlocked. paper. Brilliant. So, we've already talked about the general store very, very briefly, and I believe it's not too difficult to wrap your head around. The general store is just like the food market, except for other things. So if I get this built, what, like here? Again, I'm trying to space things out to some degree, but obviously, you know, in the future we may want to pack the buildings closer together, or more tightly together, I should say. Is it possible to build? It's not possible to build a house in between these two buildings, is it? I feel like maybe I should try and do that, like leave space in the future for a house to go in the middle there. You know what? It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it too much, Potato. You're gonna end up going crazy. Right, 2 additional houses, one of which is actually built on the water, built on, you know, scaffolding. Scaffolding costs 2 planks, so it's always good to have planks around just in case we need to, you know, ever build any scaffolding structures. Anyway, what does the general store accept? What can we provide? Okay, planks we can sell at the general store. Reinforced planks we can sell at the general store. Stone bricks we can sell at the general store. Stone bricks we need to refine from base stone. A whole bunch of tools can be sold. Leather can be sold. Cloaks, so some items of clothing. Wood axes, pickaxes. Look, a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff can be sold at the general store. In fact, this is all the stuff that can be sold at the general store. We don't have anything apart from planks, I don't believe. Yeah, I don't think we have anything with the exception of planks that can be sold at the general store at this moment in time. And we do need red coins. Red coins allow us to conduct certain other operations, but we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. What else do we need to get down? Maybe a couple of houses. I mean, we got to be careful that we don't end up building outside the range of the food markets or the general store, because at this moment in time it would be a little bit of a pain in the backside to deal with that. Let's just build the 2 additional houses over here. Costs us, you know, almost nothing. The other thing that we will need to consider is that in order to allow houses to buy red coin goods, we actually need to upgrade them, and it costs 20 coins and 5 planks in order to do just that. So that's something that we got to keep at the back of our heads. But for now, I think, you know, making sure that we have a consistent supply of flour to all of the homes that want flour, which is each and every one of them, is probably the most important thing. I would suggest. And I would say that we're not quite there yet. We're not quite at that stage where we're able to produce enough flour to keep the entirety of the town happy. I tell you what, my bank balance is very happy, though. Certainly the yellow coin bank balance is very happy. We don't have any red coins, but, you know, yellow coin bank balance is very, very happy. We've got 12 houses. So when we have 12 happiness, that is indicative that we've got just enough resources. So we're almost there. And I tell you what, at 12 happiness, at 11 happiness, it looks like we're getting a 10% production bonus. So making sure, as I've already said, that we have a consistent amount of resources being delivered to the general store, the food market, whatever. It's important. It's very, very important indeed. Anyway, I'm just waffling on now. I should talk about the school. The school is a very, very essential building. However, unbelievably, does not deserve to be in the town. I think I'm going to stick it out here. Yeah. Okay, so what is a school? A school is a research building, and we will actually start to unlock, I think, maybe a masonry first, or maybe woodworking. I feel like we'll start with a masonry. Woodworking unlocks a barn, a crate, forestry, a boat building, and a fluid pipe. A lot of stuff. I think we want to start with masonry because it's a little bit more basic, and then we might move on to basic logistics, which allows us to make cloth conveyor belts, which is tremendously exciting. Right, what do we need for masonry? We need writing supplies, we need yellow coins, and we need time. Well, everyone needs time. Nobody ever has enough time, do they? Writing supplies, weirdly, work kind of in reverse to the goods that are supplied to people's houses, if that makes sense. So we can produce paper and then deliver the writing supplies to the school in order to give us 1 research point, if that makes sense. So paper will provide us with 1 research point, a book will provide us with 10 research points, etc. And all of these research points accumulate to make stone, or to unlock the masonry research. So why don't we start making paper? I believe paper is made in the workshop. Nope. wrong one. I had a 50-50 chance of getting it right. Paper is made in the lumber mill. Cool. All right, so it costs 2 logs and 1 bit of water. So I tell you what we'll do. We'll actually place down a brand new lumber mill, making sure that, again, we give the lumber mill a little bit of space to operate. And then we will set up an additional chute over here. Doesn't need to be super long. To be honest, that's probably overkill. And you can be reassigned to work on that chute right there. We need more people to extract wood from these trees, but you know, for now that's fine. We've got the lumber mill operating as it should. Excellent. I'm going to grab a well because we need water. Yep. And I'm actually going to put the well right around the back here for a reason that will become apparent in just a bit as soon as we unlock logistics or advanced logistics. I can't remember what it is. But basically, at this moment in time, we're going to just get, you know, a worker to run between the well and the lumber mill, and that should provide all of the water that we need. And to be honest, I think that that'll provide more than enough paper to at least get some, you know, some progress on the research that we're trying to accomplish. So if I provide the paper, yep, as you can see, 1 of 40 points have now been completed on the way towards masonry research, which is excellent. I'm actually going to see if we can create a little bit of a path. Excellent. I'd love to delete these herbs, and in fact we can. What we can do is we can actually remove a resource. It costs us money to do so, I believe. It costs us money. Or maybe it doesn't cost us money. No, we can straight up just remove those herbs, which is brilliant. And that's going to speed up the delivery of the paper, which is pretty darn cool. Right, let's get another worker here. Excellent. Just to help with the delivery of logs to the lumber mill, to help with the paper production. Cool. Right, so the base is on level 3. What do we need in order to hit base level 4? We need red coins, we need cloth, and we need stone brick. Well, stone brick, we're actually in the process of researching through the masonry research. So that's good. I guess it's probably worthwhile us trying to make cloth. That would certainly seem like a good thing to do. I think I want to do that in an additional workshop. I'm certain that a workshop actually makes cloth. Right, I'm gonna do a quick test here. I'm gonna do a quick test, and in fact, what I can actually do is I can actually move buildings. So it's super easy for me to just place down a workshop right here. Place down a workshop right here. Assign cloth as the recipe. We want to make cloth from cotton. We do not have any animals at this moment in time, so we're going to have to use naturally spawning cloth. Then I just want to see, is it possible for me to transport resources? Yeah, I didn't think cloth would roll. Produced item does not have a valid output path. I didn't think that was the case. I was wondering if it would, but it does not seem that is the case. Also, we get our resources back, so it's really nice that we can just, you know, delete stuff and get the resources back. Anyway, now that I know that, it's sort of gonna make my decision fairly clear, and that decision being that I keep the workshop over here, at least in the short term. We'll probably end up getting a cloth conveyor belt to deliver the cloth from the workshop into the base. But for now, we'll keep the workshop kind of close, because I was thinking maybe if the cloth rolled, then I would put the workshop over here and just create a long chute system. New building unlocked, stone mason. Excellent. Brilliant. That's really good. That's great. What does a stonemason require to build? It requires 40 stone. We don't actually have 40 stone. Did I take our worker off stone duty? No, he's been plugging away there. He's been plugging away there, taking his time, getting the job done. I don't really think that we want to use this stone source anymore. I feel that it's got a limited amount of utility. We're probably going to end up removing this source of stone actually at some point in the future. But we need to make sure that we give ourselves an appropriate amount of space. And so for that reason, I think we're going to utilize this stone source up at the back here. Right, so 40 stone. As soon as we get 40 stone, we're in a grand old position. The grain mill is continuing to operate at the moment. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to increase the number of workers that we have working in the grain mill. I know that I said at the moment we had too much grain being inputted and not enough flour being outputted. But now that seems to have been rectified because we basically just increased our production percentage from our production speed from 100% up to 193%. We get that 10% with 10% production bonus because everyone is so gosh darn happy living in Potatoville, which is excellent. Because that makes me happy. I'm happy that they're happy. It's literally as simple as that. We could work on some additional research. We should do that. Oh, we could unlock farming. I didn't even look at farming. But you know what? Let me grab basic logistics because oh boy, this is great. It takes a little bit of a long time to get it done. We need 50 points, and we actually require 2 writing supplies in order to generate a single research point. So that's 2 bits of paper, basically. So it's the most advanced tech that we've wanted to research thus far, but it's only the second tech that we've researched, so that's not really saying much, is it? Anyway, don't worry about that too much. That'll just sort of chunter along in the background. Nothing to worry about there. Grain, yep, we're doing good for grain. Oh, except we're not doing good for grain. We've actually run out of grain. Well, it looks like everyone is gonna get grain from a little further afield, which is very good of them. I didn't ask them to do so, but they've decided to do that, and that's fine. Yeah, cool. Do we want to start generating red coins? I feel like we should maybe start generating red coins, even if we don't actually require them. It seems like we should at least try and get that done. It also makes sense to try and upgrade our house levels, because if we increase the level of our house, I should say, plural, not just singular. If we increase the level of our houses at the cost of 20 gold coins and 5 planks, then that actually gives us a much, much larger worker population to play with, which is grand. Okay, so everything is at level 2 now. We've still got a max of 12 houses. Totally fine. Let's start generating red coins, shall we? I think I actually want to place down an entirely separate lumber mill over here. And this lumber mill is going to make planks. Planks which sell for 1 red coin. There we go. Let's plonk down 2 workers. Brilliant. And then, you know what? I tell you what we could do. We could get a wagon. That's right. And the wagon can collect the output of the lumber mill and bring it directly to where it needs to go. Now, this is a little bit of an inefficient route, I feel. And so, therefore, it might be worthwhile us getting a wood bridge across this little area over here. So let's freaking do this, shall we? Yeah, we'll get a wood bridge that looks like so. Not able to build a bit of wood bridge in there. There we go. Excellent. Yep. Just like that. Brilliant. So it's going to cost us. It's going to cost us a little bit of cash to do. But look, as you can see, the wagon is already able to make that trip a heck of a lot smoother and quicker than it otherwise would have been able to do. So that's really, really nice. So all of our planks are going to be dedicated, at least from this lumber mill, to serving the population and giving us red coins. So that's really, really good. Right, I can get a stone mason, which is excellent. We can get a stone mason right over there. Ooh, unlocks a bunch of new buildings. Road, brilliant. So a proper road allows fast wagon movement. Yes, please. Stone wall, road ramp, stone bridge, stone pillar scaffold, excellent. stone arch, and stone bench. Cool. And this will allow us to make stone bricks. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Well, much like the lumber mill, we're actually going to set up a chute system. I do love the chute system in this game. It really is phenomenal. The wagon mechanics and the chute mechanics are really second to none. I like them a lot. We're gonna create a. Do we need to create a path? I tell you what, we should just create a wagon route, shouldn't we? Yeah. What are we gonna do with our stone bricks for now? I guess we probably want to throw them into the base for now. Sure, we can do that. That's, if there's nothing more pressing, then that's exactly what we will do. Cool. All right. I still think the wagon moves slightly faster on the footpath, I believe, but I suspect that the wagon will move at a blisteringly fast pace. Well, maybe it doesn't move faster on the footpath. It's definitely going to move faster. Definitely going to move faster on the road. So we've got that to look forward to. Cool. All right. Is this stonemason going to output enough stone? I think it will. In fact, it might even call for a secondary wagon to help with delivery. Because if you check our output up on the top right hand corner, you can actually see we've got a lot of whatever this is called, stone brick. Yeah, we got a lot of stone brick, smooth stone, polished stone, whatever the heck it's called. So we're doing okay for that. I guess a wagon speed isn't modified by the path. There you go. The more you know, folks. Anyway, in order to upgrade the house to a level 3 house, holy cow, it actually only costs 50 coins and 5 stone bricks. So that's pretty good, actually. That's pretty cheap. Right, I'm all inning on stone here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Do that. Excellent. I'm all inning on stone. And maybe we should create a road that goes this way. How about that? That looks pretty good, right? Look at the speed. Look at the speed of those wagons. Holy cow. We need to double this road up because wagons, as I've already said, can only occupy one singular space at a time. That's a pretty garish looking double road, but I'll tolerate it. I'll tolerate it for now. In fact, maybe that's not entirely necessary. Ooh, basic logistics has been unlocked. Oh boy, this is where the game changes in a crazy, crazy way. I'm super happy that we've reached this in the first episode as well. Okay, we've unlocked the one-way structure, which restricts movement, the barrier gate as well, the grabber. This is super, super useful. The cloth conveyor belt, structure, and the recipe, and intermediate logistics is something that we can now research. We're not going to look at the tooltips because I know roughly how things work. I say roughly. I know how things work. I'm not particularly worried. This entire time, we've been accumulating cloth for a good reason. We could sell it at the general store. I'm not particularly interested in doing that at all. What I would like to do is actually make a cloth conveyor belt here. Now, here is the cool thing that we can do. We can actually assign multiple different recipes to be built in the same facility. So it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible that we make cloth here and then use that cloth immediately to make a cloth conveyor belt. That is entirely possible. Right, so in order to facilitate this, I'm actually going to move this building across just a little bit. And you're set up to make the cloth conveyor belt, but we're missing the input ingredients. We're actually missing the wood wheel and also the stone brick. Now, this wagon is going to take stone brick to this workshop because, goodness gracious me, getting belts set up is definitely a priority in comparison to stockpiling, stone for an unknown reason. Same with this worker. He's actually going to take wagon wheels over to this workshop so that we can hopefully manufacture at least 1 or 2 cloth conveyor belts. Man, this is exciting. Right. Take the output cloth conveyor belt right over here. Cool. This is excellent. This is really, really good. Okay, you can chill out here. I don't really want to remove cloth from this workshop because I intend all of the cloth to be utilized in the construction of cloth conveyor belts, at least in the short term. At least in the short term. Right, why are we not getting any more wheels? Is it because... Well, that's a great question. I don't actually know what it's because. I'm actually going to buy 2 additional workers, and we're going to get them to do that. We're actually going to increase the length of this. Who actually operates to this chute? Right, these guys. Cool. So they're trying to stick down this bit of wood on this same bit of chute. Right. There. And there. We can do that, by the way. We can definitely add... Excuse me? Thank you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right, you know what? Just destroy this entire flipping chute. It's totally fine. Don't even worry yourself about it, video game. Don't even worry yourself about it. Right. There. There. Excellent. Right. Over to there. Over to there. Over to there. Is that enough? Does it work? It does indeed work. Excellent. Cool. All right, we've got it set up. It should now hopefully reward us with a slightly increased amount of planks, which is great. We may have made our first cloth conveyor belt yet. No, we're still waiting for a secondary wooden wheel. But that's fine. Yeah, because it costs 2 planks in order to make 1 wooden wheel. It costs us 2 wheels in order to make 1 cloth conveyor belt. Interestingly, by the way, I believe that the speed is halved. So if you've got two recipes on the go, it's actually going to slow down the rate at which we make cloth and the rate at which we make conveyor belts. But given the amount of cloth that we're making, given the amount of conveyor belts that we're making, I'm not bothered about the length of time that it actually takes to make the cloth conveyor belt, or indeed the cloth. That's totally fine. Anyway, we have 1 bit of cloth conveyor belt, I believe. If we go into logistic blocks, nope. If we go into paths, you can see, yep, we've actually got 1 bit of cloth conveyor belt. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set this up over here in the first instance. So, this is quite exciting, because it now means that we can move resources around the map without the aid of workers. I'm actually going to trash all of the water that we have in the lumber mill storage, just to show you the power of the conveyor belt. So just like that, we've actually managed to free up a worker. Water is still entering the lumber mill at a perfectly appreciable rate. We've got no issues with that whatsoever. Also, I should point out the reason that the lumber mill isn't actually using anything at the moment is because we don't have any active research. Is it worth me getting some research? I think I should probably get farming, right? That does seem like a decent idea. And actually, I tell you what, you are going to be retired. You're gonna be retired. You can go into early retirement. There's this newfangled technology called a wagon, which is going to replace the job that worker once had. Can move 4 whole pages. 4 whole pages at once. How excellent is that? There we go. So we've now got two individuals which are free. Drop off your page at the school, and then I'll send you back. Excellent. Now you can just chill out. I'm gonna try and make sure that I keep all of the workers that I don't have actually doing anything. Gonna make sure that I keep them entirely free. Okay, you don't have space to drop off that water bucket at the lumber mill, but that's not a problem at all. Okay, so that's 3 workers actually that we've made redundant just through a couple of changes that hopefully will only further improve the situation around the place. Right, now, the next stage is getting a cloth conveyor belt over here. Now, this is a little bit of a funky one. So we're able to make a wood wheel. However, However, as you can see, we got a wood wheel in storage. Now, the unique thing about this game, which I actually really, really like, is that each building has got like an entrance point. It's got a door, which is represented by a big arrow. The door is actually offset a little bit, but the door is right there. And if a building is able to output a resource that is rollable, then we can just link a chute right up to the front door, just like so. As you can see, the plank is not a rollable. It's not a rollable resource, so there's no point in experimenting with that. And actually, neither is a wheel, as funky as it sounds. So what we can do is we can actually utilize a logistic block called a grabber, which is great, and that will pull the resource out of the building from any point. Most of the buildings just have inputs, so you can see, you know, the chute can go in at any side. But with a grabber, any input can be used as an output, which is oh so exciting, isn't it? It is very exciting. It sounds not exciting, but it's very, very exciting. Right, are we far off farming? The reason that I ask is because it would be really, really dope to set up a field over here, because we got a lot of people that aren't doing anything at this moment in time. And in fact, I suspect that all of our happiness is coming from providing planks. I have a little look. Yeah, we're getting all of our happiness from general goods at the general store. So we got a new building unlocked, the farm, and we've also got a new research unlocked, which is an animal pasture, which is very, very cool. Now, can I go into the build menu just for a second? And what I actually want to do, I don't want to deal with farming quite yet. I actually want to go to tools, and I want to cut the grass. So the cutting the grass is something that needs to be done, because grass serves no meaningful purpose, as far as I'm aware anyway, in this game, and so therefore it would be great to get it removed. Now, the reason that I actually originally chose this area as potentially a good area for the grain mill to go is because I think this area will work very, very nicely as a farm, at least as an initial farm. Looks to be just about the right size. The plateau is fairly good. Cool. All right, so let's get it planted down, and then we can actually plant down some farm tiles, which we need fertilizer for, which is deeply, deeply, deeply irritating. We need fertilizer. How the heck do we make fertilizer? Supply fertilizer? I can supply fertilizer manually, I know that. However, I need to manufacture fertilizer, and that is a great question. How do I actually manufacture fertilizer? I don't think I can do it at the grain mill. Not over there either. The lumber mill? No. Workshop? Maybe the workshop? Presumably the workshop. How the bleeding heck do I make fertilizer? I'm asking the really, really important question of myself. Produced by a pasture? Okay, it's produced by a pasture there, folks, so there you go. Okay, turns out that we cannot actually make, well, we can't make a proper farm at this moment in time. What we can do, however, is we can actually move the farm, and we can bring the farm to where the crops are. So, here is a great place where we can utilize a farm. Now, I'm going to utilize the farm at the moment to extract grain. I'm also going to use it to supply water. We can't actually supply fertilizer at the moment because we don't have a method of supplying fertilizer. However, you could see just there that the grain started to wiggle, and that is actually the farm farming the grain, which is very, very exciting indeed. Is it not? Okay, so as a consequence, we should be able to create a chute. Now, if I was to create a chute just the way that the game planned it out, it would actually de-escalate the chute, which is not what I want, because if we de-escalate the chute, I think it might be a bit of a challenge, gravity-wise, to re-escalate the chute. So let's try and keep the chute at the appropriately high level. I don't think that gravity is going to have a problem with this. I mean, maybe aesthetics has got a problem with this, but certainly for now it looks okay. I mean, interestingly enough, I don't believe that chutes can be branched. I mean, they can be branched into one another. However, they cannot be branched out of one another. So it's not possible. It's not possible for us to do that. Right. So that's just set up as a grabber. However, I don't think that we actually need a grabber in order to grab the resources. I think we can make do without that grabber, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, pretty sure that's the case. All right, this is looking brilliant. This is looking really, really good. And so that is going to give us a fairly significant amount of grain, actually. And it should be able to replant the tiles even without the farm tiles, as I've already highlighted. I'm going to increase the number of workers that I have here so that we're basically going to be maxing our output. Can we go up to 10? We can go almost all the way up to 10. In fact, you can see that we've now got too many farmers. Too many farmers, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. That's fine. We can reduce down the number of farmers that we've got. We want to see this number, you know, hovering round about the same level. Right, so 5 farmers at, you know, 550 production speed is too little, but 6 is too many. Either way, we're now going to get a significant amount of grain from the grain mill, which is really, really good. This is looking excellent. This is looking really, really good. It's taking our happiness to new, never before seen levels. 20% production bonus is what we're getting from this level of happiness, which is really, really excellent, in fact. All the while, we've been accruing a whole bunch of cloth conveyors, which I've sort of just let build up. And in fact, I hope we've got a couple now. Yeah, we got 19 cloth conveyors. We seem to have grain in the base. I'm going to trash that because it's not important. Easily, we're going to manage to hit level 4, which is a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I kind of anticipated not getting anywhere near this level, and I don't even feel like anything is particularly well organized. Like, you know, this is a sort of base level of chaos. I'm gonna just get a well real quick over here, and we're gonna get a cloth conveyor over there because it's coming out the front. The water should just immediately deliver to the farm. I believe that water and fertilizer in the context of a farm both increase crop growth speed. So, you know, the more fertilizer that we're able to get to the farms, the more water that we're able to get to the farms is pretty exceptional, really. But we've actually got more than enough grain coming out from this farm right now, and we can get a farm, by the way, for every single crop. We don't need to worry about that. Fish as well. Fish, we should think about fish at some point in the future. But you know what? We'll have to concern ourselves with our fishy friends in another world, in another life, at another time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you oh so much for watching this ever so lovely video game called Factory Town. This is Potatoville. We're going to be making a triumphant return here, so stay tuned for that. Thanks as ever to all of the fantastic Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/allbutapotato. Also thanks to Banana Nana and C Senpai for being the two $25 plus tier patrons. Thank you very, very much for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye.